Representative Seifert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't know if you watched the show Green Acres when you were growing up like I did. We only had 2 channels when I was growing up. And some people may accuse us of making political hay off of Green Acres. But there's one specific character I remember on the show was Mr. Haney, who always pulled up to the Douglas farm residence with some type of huckster-type device that he was going to sell to the people across the plains. And it always didn't work. And he never acknowledged in any of the episodes that I had watched that what he was selling as a bill of goods to the people across that area, whether it was Petticoat Junction or one of the other towns across that particular fictional area, he never acknowledged the fact that when something was sold as a bill of goods and it was broken, that there needed to be some type of change made later to correct the problem. Now, Representative Lincheski, I'm not accusing you of being the Mr. Haney of the legislature from last year. I think you tried your best in the process that you had. But I remember the omnibus tax bill coming to this floor, and I don't remember a thorough discussion of Green Acres or the circumstances that would be levied upon the people across Minnesota. We have people in Wright County right now that Representative Anderson talked to me about, that Representative Kiffmeyer talked to me about, that have $300,000 tax liabilities mailed to their mailbox. 80,000, 120,000. We can get the evidence for you if you're interested in who these people are. Now, this may not be an urgency for you. And I realize when we look at the board, when we vote today, we are declaring an urgency. But for the constituents who live in a lot of districts across Minnesota, this is an urgency. There are people right now in Minnesota who can't sleep at night, literally, because of what this legislature did last session. And instead of turning it on its back and say, well, we'll work this out through 15 committee processes and hope it all works out by the time May rolls around, why don't we just acknowledge it was a mistake? Repeal the changes from last year and give these folks a chance to sleep at night, and then work through your processes later and allow them to come in and talk about the effects that it'll have on their taxes. I have Green Acres enrollees in my district. It certainly isn't as acute of an issue as it is in Mille Lacs County or Chisago County or Wright County or Winona County or Goodhue County or all these other places where I've gotten a lot of letters and emails. But it is an urgency. It may not be an urgency for folks in this room, but it is an urgency for thousands of people across Minnesota who are clear-cutting trees. Look at the article in the Star Tribune dated December 26th that Representative Anderson handed out. As soon as possible, the subheadline, farmers are panicking. Farmers are panicking. Now, they may not be running the plows right now when it's 20 degrees out, but I can tell you there's already been trees cut down now because I've talked to the people who have cut them down. And there are people who are preparing right now to cut trees down. So we can go through all the processes and committees and so forth, and I respect that, but this is an urgency. Let's just acknowledge a mistake was made. I voted for the omnibus tax bill because by and large I thought there were some things in there that were worthy of merit. But I can tell you, members, there are a lot of people having sleepless nights in Minnesota over this issue. And we can work together in a bipartisan way to correct the problem. Let's just acknowledge it. There was a mistake made. And at the end of the day, if we sit here in May and this provision is tucked into a gigantic fat tax increase bill that gets vetoed, remember you don't have to have a tax bill at the end of session, then the finger pointing is going to be going back and forth. It was the governor's fault. It was the Republicans. It was the Democrats. It was Representative Lincheski. It was Senator Bach. It was this person. It was that person. Let's rise above the muck and the fray and the omnibus bill discussions and get it done right now. Vote green.